Dear viewers, I welcome you on behalf of AQ Chingari channel. There are billions of people living on this earth and all of them have more or less intellectual capacity. A famous philosopher says that no greater trouble can befall a person than that he starts opposing reason. The main difference between humans and animals is intelligence. The Quran also calls humans the worst animals who do not use their intellect but blindly follow others. It is the intellect that makes a person curious to reach the real reality of everything. Man sees countless types of creatures, colorful forms, vast universe, sun, moon, stars, etc. Man also contemplates his own existence, and thus many fundamental questions arises in his mind. Is this universe created by itself? Has it always been the same? Humans are born from humans. How many are born every day and how many die? How long has this been going on? Why is it running? And how long will it last? Is there a purpose of plan behind it all? Do the people who die perish forever? If this entire universe was created by a God, where is He? Where is He Himself? Who created Him? Is He still alive? Is He related to our life? Dear viewers, this universe has existed long before the arrival of man. Before 1920, the concept of a creator of the universe or the creation of the universe was an ignorant concept for scientists. According to them, materialism was the basis of science. That is, matter is the only thing that exists in the universe. The universe has always been and always will be. The universe is infinite. The universe has no beginning. And the basis of this concept was actually based on the law of conservation of mass. When matter can only change from one state to another, it is not possible to disappear or vanish or annihilate. So it seemed to mean this, that then matter has always existed and will always exist. And when this is the case, matter cannot be the creation of any God. Even if there is a God who has always existed, matter has also always existed. God cannot be the creator of matter. That is why all the famous scientists and philosophers were deniers of the existence of God and bearers of atheism. However, Albert Einstein proved mathematically through his theory of relativity that matter can be converted into energy and that all matter can exist from energy. In the history of astronomy, there were revolutionary discoveries after 1920 which proved that the universe was created. In 1922, Russian physicist Alexander Friedman made some calculations in the light of Einstein's general theory of relativity and said that the structure of the universe is not static. Even a small shock can be enough to cause the entire cosmic structure to collapse or expand. Friedman's research was also recognized and supported by the Belgian astronomer Georges Lemaitre. Lemaitre added further and said that the universe had a beginning and is expanding as if something forced it to expand. The research of Friedman and Lemaitre was not received with enough warmth and was almost ignored. But an observational testimony in 1929 turned the tide of events. Dear viewers, there are billions, trillions of suns in this universe. If the sunlight of our earth is passed through the spectrum, it can be seen divided into 7 colors. But if the light of a sun that is moving away from our earth is passed through the spectrum, the red color will be prominent among the 7 colors that the light of the sun will pass through the spectrum. The faster the star is moving away from us, the more red the color will be. An American scientist named Edwin Hubble was observing distant stars from the Mount Wilson Observatory in California. He found it surprising that the light coming from these stars was bent towards the red end of the spectrum That is, the stars located far away from us are getting further away from us. Moreover, the more distant the star, the redder the light coming from it. This discovery became known as the red shift. From this discovery, a clear conclusion was drawn that the farther away the star is from us, the faster it is moving away from us. Soon after, Hubble made another important discovery. Not only are the stars moving away from us, but they are also moving away from each other, meaning that the universe is expanding. With the discovery and confirmation of cosmic expansion, the question arose that if the universe is expanding over time, then at some point in the past, the entire universe must have been converging in one place. In fact, there must have been a moment in the past when all the matter, all the energy, and everything else in the universe must have existed in the same place. That is, there was a time when the entire universe was gathered in one place due to its great gravity. Our entire universe came into being from the explosion of this tiny volume and very dense mass. Today, the process is known as Big Bang, which has been confirmed by repeated observations. After the Big Bang, the centuries old idea and theory that the universe was always in motion was completely negated. The Big Bang completely disproved the centuries old idea that the universe had always existed and proved that the universe came into being from nothing. In 1948, Georges Gamow, building on Lemaitre's work, put forward a new question that if the universe was created by a massive explosion, there must have been some radiation left in the remnants of this explosion. These radiations must be observable and that they must spread uniformly throughout the universe. Now, whether the Big Bang theory is right or wrong depends largely on the presence of these radiations. These radiations were discovered by Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson of American Telephone and Telegraph, and they were named cosmic background radiation. In 1989, NASA's George Smoot and his team launched COBE, COBE, a research satellite called the SMAC Background Emission Explorer, with the aim of confirming the cosmic background radiation. This asteroid confirmed the observation of Wilson and Penzias in just 8 minutes and thus provided conclusive and indisputable scientific evidence in favor of the Big Bang, eliminating all objections to the Big Bang. Wilson and Penzias were awarded the Nobel Prizes. After that, further investigations also estimated the time of the Big Bang. The age of our sun was also estimated by how much hydrogen is left in the sun and how much hydrogen has turned into helium gas. Another thing was a source of great perplexity and confusion for the materialists who always believed that matter and the universe were eternal. And it seemed very difficult for them to give any reasonable explanation that if the universe was eternal, then the sun, and when should all the hydrogen found in the universe have turned into helium? However, the amounts of hydrogen and helium in the sun and the universe have been found to be exactly what they should have been according to the theoretical estimates made at the Big Bang. This is rather incontrovertible evidence that the universe came into being with a Big Bang. The Big Bang was an explosion, but what happens after the explosion? Things explode and rays fly around randomly. But what should be called such an explosion in which after the explosion everything is settled by an orderly regulation and a law enforced order? Are the stars and planets among which we are living the same scattering of matter? Is there a pile or not? How did these organized galaxies form after the explosions? Why did the components of matter gather in one place and make stars? After the explosion, the matter did not spread in chaotic manner, but was organized into planets, stars, galaxies, galactic clusters, clusters and clusters of these clusters mean superclusters. It's like going off a big bomb in a grove of trees, and when the dust settles, the result is lots of tables, chairs, and fancy furniture. That is, all the wood from the trees made it after the explosion. Cosmology professor Andrei Lundy, born on March 2, 1948, was a Russian and American physicist, says, in its standard state, the Big Bang theory assumed that all parts of the universe expand simultaneously. Started. But how did these different parts of the universe interact with each other in the explosion? In this explosion of the universe at the beginning, will we be compatible? Who ordered it? Similarly, late Sir Fred Hoyle, who was born in Britain in 1911 and died at the age of 68, could not help but wonder at the aftermath of the Big Bang. He says, the Big Bang theory states that the universe began with a massive explosion. But as you can see, any explosion scatters matter far and wide, while the Big Bang mysteriously reversed it, made an impact. That is, the matter was kneaded together and given the shape of galaxies. Just look at the balance between the expansion of matter and the force of gravity after the explosion. If the force of expansion of the material after the explosion were even slightly greater, the material would simply expand, would go away and never be reunited. Similarly, if the force of attraction or compression were to increase even a little bit, the matter would collapse again along with the expansion and concentrate at the critical point. The important question is that what amount of balance between these forces should be. Paul Davies, professor of mathematical physics at the University of Adelaide in Australia, who was born in 1907 and died in 1984, said, if the expansion rate of the universe had changed by 10 to the power minus 18 seconds, power of 10 minus 18 seconds, that is slightly more than a million trillionth of a second, the universe would not exist today. Paul Davies writes, careful measurements brings the speed of cosmic expansion very close to the distance at which it is reached. The universe would escape its gravity and expand forever. The speed of cosmic expansion, if the distance was a little less than the limit, then the universe would have collapsed immediately, and if the speed was a little more, when would the cosmic matter have completely disintegrated? This question will certainly be interesting at the end of these two tragedies. How does intercosmic expansion come about in such a fine-tuned manner? When, if just 1 second after the Big Bang, the cosmic expansion rate was just a power of 10 minus 18, 1 million trillionth change. If he came, he would destroy this delicate balance of the universe. It would have been enough. So, this leads to the explosive force of cosmic expansion, incredible precision. Also, it was perfectly aligned with the gravity. The Big Bang is not an ordinary initial explosion. It was rather a highly unusual explosion of specially designed power. That is, Paul Davies is clearly trying to say that the expansion was the work of a highly intelligent planner who planned the explosion and then successfully controlled the explosion and achieved the desired results. Who is not familiar with the name of Stephen Hawking in today's age? He has tried to describe the universe as a sequence of events from the beginning. But he also could not live without appreciating this balance between expansion and contraction of the universe. According to Stephen Hawking, if 1 second after the Big Bang the speed of cosmic expansion changes by even a tiny fraction of a million trillion, if so, the universe would have converged back to a point before reaching its current size. The real question is, what does this extraordinary balance prove? What if there were a million coins lying in one place and an explosion caused them to bounce in such a way that only heads came up after each coin fell? Or a bomb explodes in a rice field, and when the dust settles, it turns out that the entire field has been turned into 3 separate heaps after the bomb blast. See each grain of rice in a separate pile, stalks of plants in a separate pile, and pile of straw lying separately. This meant that the explosion in the rice field was not an ordinary explosion but a pre-arranged explosion after planning and calculation. The nature of the Big Bang is exactly the same and it makes sense. The only answer is that this universe was created by great creator. This explosion and balance is not a coincidence but a deliberate systematic creation. The most interesting aspect in this regard is that the Big Bang theorists Paul Davies, Arno Pinzias, Fred Hoyle, and Roger Pinzor, etc., are all anti religion and fanatical and materialistic people who until then had spent their life proving that the universe existed without a god and without a plan. All these people have come to a conclusion which is impossible to deny and which to admit goes completely against not only their desire but also their whole life's struggle, but also the major part of their whole life's work and thought. Proves it wrong. This is the reason why most of them do not act openly in admitting this front truth, but the difficulty is that it cannot be denied. This mental state of materialist can be clearly felt from their words. For example, the secular philosopher Anthony Flew says, "Confession is good for the soul." So I begin by admitting that every stubborn atheist should be ashamed of the modern epistemic consensus because it seems like the archaeologist of this thing providing scientific evidence which St. Thomas had declared unprovable in the light of philosophy. That is this, that the universe had a beginning. As long as it is calmly understood that the universe had a beginning or exists without end, then it is easy to require that the omnipresent existence of this universe and everything that constitutes its basic characteristics, accepting them all as the ultimate explanation, to be done. Although I believe that the idea of an infinite universe is still valid, but the Big Bang is a reality. It is not only difficult but also unsatisfying to hold on to this point of view after it has been exposed and proved. As we said, if you have spent your whole life laboring to deny the existence of God and finally come to the concrete fact that you have spent your whole life thinking wrongly and laboring in the wrong direction, it's not easy to accept the truth with an open heart. Materialist British scientist H.P. Lipson says, if all this material of life did not come into being through the interplay of atoms, radiation and cosmic forces, then what does presence mean? I think we must accept that creation is the only one acceptable justification. I know that this will be very unpleasant to other physicists as much as to myself, but we cannot rule it out in any way because the empirical evidence is in its favor. So the Big Bang proved that this universe was created by an omnipotent being, Allah. Unfortunately, we are continuously being ruled by Shaitanic rulers, hypocritical worldly clerics, corrupt and false media anchors which are the agents of global Shaitanic forces. They are not giving us the truth, rather they are spreading lies on the contrary. Respected viewers, when the entire Quran was fed into the computer and looked at the data of letters, words and verses etc., it was proved by mathematical knowledge that the Quran is permanent and eternal miracle. Our AQ Chingari channel presents these mathematical proofs and figures in many videos which are of great value and knowledge to those who are interested. We have presented a table of regular figures which mathematically prove the perpetual miracle of the Quran. These videos are available on our channel. Albert Einstein clearly stated that all matter and energy cannot guide us even an inch about moral values. That is goodness, badness, honesty, truth, lies, love, hate, envy, jealousy, etc. cannot be tested in a laboratory. These are moral values which have a separate field. Science has nothing to do with these values. But Einstein's original position was also hidden. The problem was that if the existence of Allah is believed, then the scientific way of thought takes a step forward. That did this God communicate with us? Has this God set a purpose of our lives? And this scientific progress certainly continue to introduce us to the Quran and all the satanic world powers, the world media, and most afraid of the real teaching of the Quran, because the teaching of the Quran is the teaching that exposes their lies. It talks about throwing these satanic rulers away and giving the rulership of the world in the hands of the good and righteous. The proof of what we are presenting can be found in the following words of Einstein. Quote from Professor Einstein's book Out of My Later Years. Science can only tell what is, it cannot tell what should be. Therefore, determining the value of values is outside the realm of science. On the contrary, the function of religion is to determine the value of human thought and action. The pioneers of science have often tried to impose a definitive judgment on values through science. It is their mistake, due to which they set up a front against religion. According to science, there is only thing in his word. Aspirations, values, good, evil, the purpose of life does not exist. Science can neither define values nor instill them in the chest. More science, it can provide more means by which man can achieve his goal. But self-concept and determination of the goal itself can only be done by the exalted. We have learned from the bitter experience that knots of social life cannot be resolved by reason alone. Scientific research has often proved fatal mankind. From them, man definitely got comfort and luxury in physical life, but a strange anxiety arose in his inner world, due to which he remained a slave of his technical environment. And more than that, he himself found great deadly materials for his own destruction. So, values are not formulated after experiences. These are given through revelation, through the mediation of powerful beings, prophets of Allah. This writing proves that Einstein was a man who believed in Allah, revelation, and prophethood. This is to say that moral system of the world should be established on the precepts of books given to great men by revelation. But who among us knows this today? Dear viewers, this is a very important topic and we have a lot to say on this topic right now. In the next videos, we also have to review where did Allah God himself come from. What does science say about this? Stay connected with our AQ Chingari channel. We are constantly explaining the truth and the right in front of you, which is being hidden by the global antichrist satanic media and hypocritical clerics. You can't find this hidden truth and truth easily on the internet. You can't, because anti-Quran Dajjal forces have tried their best to hide the search system of the internet in many layers of deception. Oh Allah, show us what is right as the truth and grant us the courage to follow it. And what is false, show it as false and grant us the courage to avoid it. Ameen Ya Rabbul Alameen.